Greetings everyone, welcome to Just Advance. And now we are at a stage in the Sinquefield Cup where it's round 3 and we are facing Fabiano Caruana is facing Alireza Firouzja. With the black pieces, Firouzja is very tricky. Duda was winning a game yesterday against him and Firouzja slipped out. He went for an all-out attack and he was able to beat him in tactics. So Caruana knows that it's very difficult to beat Alireza, so he's gonna try and keep the game positional, but let's see if he succeeds at that or not. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Caruana starts with d4. We have knight to f6, c4, e6, and knight to c3. We go into the East Indian defense, and now we have bishop to b4. So we transpose into the Nimzo Indian. Knight to f3, b6, and bishop to d2, but just bishop to b7. And now that bishop is going to be very nice. Also, you can name this bishop whatever you want to, the Nimzo Indian bishop, Catalan bishop, or whatever you want to call it. Here we have g3. Bishop captures, and just going for knight to e4, attacking the bishop. And mostly in Nimzo Indian, you have to understand that it's about keeping the bishop pair in the position, and the more you have these bishop pairs, more likely the chance that you can have some winning chances. A rook to c1 was played, and you could capture, but this knight is very strong. You don't want to give it up for this bishop just yet. d6, but now just bishop to g2 and castles, and knight to d7. So development is very fine. There is no issues with the development. Most likely there is somewhere along the line there's going to be queen to c2 and just maybe push the pawn, or maybe just push the pawn right away and slowly but surely then get queen to c2. But somewhere around the line you're going to want to kick this knight back, because those moves are also possible. And if black pushes d5 himself, then the position becomes very good for black. So here Fabi does it. Fabi goes for d5 himself. Knight captures on c3, rook captures, and just e5, taking more space, Alireza. So definitely this is also coming in the position. And then maybe you're just if that's not the idea, then maybe you're just going for an all-out attack. I mean, you can never know with Alireza. Here e4, but now just comes this a5, knight to d2, and now just c6. We have rook to e1, c captures, and just going for this knight to c5. So that knight is a brilliant piece, and it's going to be very much difficult to kick the knight out of c5. And now Fabi goes for queen to e2, just centralizing the queen. Also, maybe some ideas of pushing in the center. But we have just f5, and I told you, I mean, it's very tricky with Alireza, because he knows when to play the right moves and when to go for these kind of things. So we have e captures, rook captures, and just knight to e4. So maybe something like he wants to double up on the f file. There will be a very nice attack on the f file. This knight is going to be a very nice defender, and although it would be pinned when the queen moves, you don't want to go for a move like this. So maybe just let's see what happens. Say queen to e7, but now just queen to b5, and now we have queen to c7. I mean, going for this maneuver and just putting the rooks on the f file, where they will be really strong. And in this position, here b3 was played by Fabi. And here Alireza goes as planned. He goes for rook a to f8, but now just comes a3 by Fabi, and a3 is a bit of a slow move, because the move that you want to play in this position is bishop to h3. Attack the attack the rook, and obviously you cannot capture because it's knight captures. So where do you move the rook? You don't want to move the rook here. I mean, that's just very passive, and again, it could be attacked, and also you could have back rank issues after rook captures, and they would be just not. I mean, you cannot even actually move it, I guess, because if you do move it, rook captures, you cannot capture it back, because I think this would be checkmate. So I mean, not checkmate entirely, but again, I mean, there would be some like Swish and Sug in the like the middle move where you get the check, and you have to move. And I think that there would be some checkmating ideas after knight captures, because knight is currently guarding that square. So there are a lot of tactics involved, and Alireza like flourishes in these kinds of situations. But here, I mean, you have to understand that this is a very difficult position to play. If you play like move like rook to h5, then there is bishop to e6, and unfortunately you cannot unfortunately you cannot capture, because if you capture, then the queen hangs, and you have to be very much careful in this position. So once the king moves, you have a very amazing tactic in this position, because the rook can come over to f3, and now you cannot capture. Simply the same idea, and you're getting mated. So you have to move it away, and there's not many squares. This is covered, so you have to be a little bit careful. This is also covered, so here maybe just you try to go here, but then the rook jumps in, and rook to f7, and queen is attacked, and your position is, I mean, absolutely crumbling. There is no way you can do anything in this position. And I mean, wherever the queen moves, let's say queen goes back, you just capture it. And once this capture, I mean, you're just going to capture the pawn, and we transpose into this position where your bishop is under attack, rook is under attack, you have back rank issues. This bishop is absolutely beautiful. I mean, Alireza is not surviving this game against Fabi. So this would have been really good for Fabi, but Fabi, I think, missed it. He went for a3. That's a slow move, and now just Alireza goes for queen to d8, and next move maybe somewhere along the line you're just going to trade, and Alireza's position absolutely fine. But here after knight captures, d captures, rook to c2, and well, what are you doing with black? Here we have queen to d6, just trying to centralize the queen. And if this bishop were to come alive, then the position would be really great. But this bishop is very feeling very very sad in this position, because just because of one pawn. And here we have rook to d2, but now just king to c8, bishop to e4, and rook 5 to f6. The issue with Alireza's position is that this is defended, so both rooks are on the f file and you don't have any counterplay. This bishop is not live. Queen is on d6, just trying to protect the b6 pawn, and there is not much counterplay to do with black. All you can do is hope and wait that white doesn't find the right continuation of moves. And with Fabi actually loves these kinds of position where he can put his opponent in a soup swung. And hey, bishop to g2, but now just comes rook to f5. I mean, again, just going back and forth, rook to e3, h6, and now just a4. So Fabi is making progress, but he's doing it very little at the time. And queen to e6, queen to f6 was tried, but now just comes rook e to e2, just defending everything perfectly. There are no threats. Queen to d6 again. See, again, just moving back and forth. I mean, it's not going to help black's position, but there is nothing more to do in this position. I mean, what are you going to do? And now just h4, and I mean, Fabi is really making progress here. Rook 5 to f6, queen to d3, and just bishop to c8 was played. And now the advantage actually closed. You can see with the engine here, just queen to e4. And now what are you doing with the position? The position is not looking that good. You cannot push the pawns, you cannot move the rook, you cannot move the queen. I mean, this is not a position to have, and Alireza doesn't like these positions. He likes tactical shots, he likes to play those kinds of positions, and this is not one of them. Bishop to a6 was tried, just attacking the rook, but rook moves to e3, and we have c4 now. But c4 is not a good move. B captures, but now just queen to b4, trying to go after both the pawns, but queen to c2, just defending both of them. And now it's just queen captures, bishop captures, and d6 was played. But this pass pawn is a bit too strong, and there is no way actually you could even defend it. If the bishop jumps into the game at the right time, I mean, this pass pawn and this pass pawn you compare, then you can realize that this is a completely winning position. Rook to d8 was played, d7, king to g8, and now we have rook caps on e5, eliminating one of the other pass pawns. King to f7, but just rook to d4, attacking the bishop. Bishop moves, and now you go attacking the bishop once again. Bishop back to b3, but now just comes this rook to e3, bishop to a2, bishop to f1, but now comes king to f8, and now after bishop to b5, that pawn is defended. Yes, you have a light square bishop, but then again, how are you going to get that into the game? And once it's defended, you could actually have ideas of infiltrating the e file, and getting another queen into the game. So either you're going to have to sacrifice the bishop, or you're going to have to sacrifice the rook. Either way, your position is completely lost. After rook to e6, here just going for rook to d2, and it was on this move, on move 46, that Alireza Firouzja resigned the game, and Fabi got this spectacular victory in just 46 moves. And I mean, if he had found that in this position after like rook a to f8, bishop to h3, I think Fabi would be completely winning. So it took a little bit longer than that than it was supposed to, but after everything like got traded off, he was able to get a better position, because I think Alireza pushed a little bit too much here. After c4, he pushed a bit too much, because I don't think he was supposed to just held on. I think if he held on, the position would be maybe just would have walked into a draw. But I mean, this was a bit too much, and I think this is where Alireza's position absolutely started to crumble, because this pass pawn, I mean, you just don't create pass pawns like that for white. You have no counterplay, and the position is about to crumble. So yeah, after rook to d2, he resigned the game. And if you're wondering why he resigned, just rook captures, and after rook pawn captures, you can see that the position doesn't have anything in this position. I mean, you can get the bishop back, and maybe you can try and even trade, but the rook comes in, and once you are able to get the king in, I'm just going to gobble up other pawns. And yes, you might be able to grab one of the pass pawns, but the rook ending game is going to be completely winning. I'm going to be up 2 pawns, and yeah, in a completely winning position. And after this amazing win, Fabi is actually leading the Sinquefield Cup. He has I mean, out of the 3 rounds, he has 2 points, and he's doing very very well. I think 1 win and 2 draws, and there is no losses, so he actually might have a chance to actually win this entire thing. I mean, he did amazingly well in the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz as well. In the Rapid section, he was leading, but in the Blitz, he got absolutely crumbled, and he got crushed. I mean, really, honestly, he did not play well, and he realized that as well. But I think he's gonna do very very well in Sinquefield Cup, and that is just showing. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated with the channel, and yeah, I'll see you guys very very soon. Thank you very much for watching.